Thank you very much for joining us in this interview, Dr. Ron and Mrs. Jenny Gaff. First question: how did you know about Jesus Christ?
Well, for me, my mom, I remember the first time I heard about Jesus, my mom shared it outside our barn when I was a little kid, when I was maybe in third grade. And I still remember that conversation about Jesus dying for our sins and he paid the total price. We just have to believe him by faith. And so that was my first really clear understanding of the gospel.
For me, when we were still in Apari, we were kids, there would be missionaries that come and have daily vacation Bible school. So that's
Mm.
where I first heard. But because we were Buddhists and we were told by my mom not to accept Jesus, so we didn't. But we heard the gospel. It was until later the seed was growing. My sister, oldest sister, who became a Christian already, shared, and then that was like, okay, I was ready and I accepted Jesus.
Mm. So what circumstances or circumstance do you think led you to believe that you have become truly a follower of Jesus Christ?
Well, for me, I think it's two situations. One is during a revival when I was 11 or 12, that I clearly made a personal decision that I would receive Jesus Christ. And I knew it from then on, I had no doubts. But when I really committed myself to serve him was in college, my second year in college, where I really committed my life to follow him. And God changed my life because of that, my direction of life.
I think for us, because it was very different, from being Buddhist and to becoming a Christian, we were very conscious that when we asked Jesus, it was really turning away from Buddhism and becoming a Christian. We knew what we were doing, and so my mom was upset, was persecuting us, didn't want us to read the Bible. So we would hide when we would read the Bible. So all the things, it really showed that, it was real commitment at that time that, okay, we knew what God was doing in our lives.
So how did you become a part of Gospel Church of Manila?
I'll let Jenny go first since she became a part before I did.
Yeah.
Mm.
I So GCM started, I think, with a group of the State Christian Fellowship people, and my older sisters, they were working at State Christian Fellowship, so they sort of know about it. So when GCM started in 1984, in the
Mm.
first few weeks, I believe my older sister, and I attended because that's where we got to meet
Mm.
Jerry Lim, Kuya Jerry already there, and we got to meet the other the original ones also. So we would attend because we were part of another church already, a Chinese church further away, but we live right near GCM, so we would attend Sundays and then try it. But it was after Explo 85 that we really decided, okay, we will make GCM our church. Then we switched churches.
Mm. How about Dr. Ron?
Well, it was in 1989. I had come back from furlough, and I was asked by one of the Campus Crusade staff members if I'd be interested in discipling some Chinese young people at this church called Gospel Church in Manila. And I thought about that, and I decided I would not do that because it was too far. My church was real close, and I was used to that church. And why should I go through Quiapo and Binondo? And so the day that I was going to give him my answer of no, as I was walking up the stairs in Campus Crusade's headquarters, God just told me, trust me. And so I said yes. And that was 35 years ago. So
Mm.
God had a plan, and it was a good one.
Yes.
It's how God knew this is where he wanted me to be.
I was gonna add pala for me when why GCM was attracted to us then because we were already part. We were involved with Campus Crusade in college, and when we came to GCM, it was like, oh, everything was fit. We like the evangelical, uh,
Mm,
parang GCM being like that. So that's why we kept coming back, and we felt at home kaagad.
Hmm.
That's why we
mm.
said, okay, we're joining GCM.
So it's safe to say that you both met at GCM, right?
No, we did not.
So how and when did you two meet?
Well, for me, I came back from a furlough in 1989. And when I
Mm,
came back, Jenny was one of the staff of Campus Crusade.
mm,
She had become a staff when I was in the U.S. So that's when I first met Jenny at Campus Crusade for Christ.
The office.
Yeah, the office.
mm.
So we were working together at the office, but then he was invited to join GCM. So then it wasn't only at the office, but we were also together at church on Sundays.
So
And
you
then
were surprised to see each other at GCM.
Yeah, I think so because I don't think I knew for sure she was there at the
Mm.
time because I'd never been there. I didn't know where a church was. So yeah, I was a little surprised. God wasn't, but I definitely was. So
and then
Mm.
because it was New Life 2000, there was a project, New Life 2000 Manila project during that time, 990. There were a lot of trainings and outreaches. So we would have to work together, going to those places together during that time, right?
yeah,
So we were going to places in Tondo and around Binondo and San Nicolas together.
Mm. So that developed the love story.
yeah, it took a little while, but it was
Uh,
there already. I just didn't know it. But that's another story.
Yeah,
mm,
because we would when we would go to San Nicolas, so okay, so we have to walk there together. Then we take tricycles together, and when it rains, so we have to share an umbrella.
That's too romantic, man.
So, so that was while we were doing ministry. We were trying to go and do witnessing, doing Bible
mm,
study, and
Yeah, it's definitely one of the reasons God wanted me in the church. There's many other reasons, but one for sure, for Jenny and I to get together.
mm. Yes. And then you were married in what year?
1995
1995 at GCM.
GCM.
Yes,
Yes.
Greg married us.
Oh,
Because
okay.
basically, yeah, our story started at GCM na rin,
Yeah.
They saw it.
Mm. Okay. And then, what service or ministry involvement uh, do you have individually or as a family? Uh, I think, shall we start at the beginning? What were your first ministry involvement at
when I
GCM?
was when I was still in college and we joined, my sister and I joined GCM. We my sister and I, my older sister and I were teaching the children Sunday school. We went
Mm,
to attend a training, teachers training, and then we got the materials and we started to do some Sunday school for kids. That was the start. And then also when other LaSalle people came, my fellow schoolmates, then we kept meeting and thinking, okay, how can we reach Binondo and bring them to GCM? So we would plan to reach the community. So that was even before New Life 2000
Mm.
Manila.
mm,
So there were the college students, and then when we graduated, the young professionals naman. So there were a lot of groups, and we were every afternoon we would come. Okay, let's think. Okay, how are we gonna invite more people to come to GCM? So that was my before Ron,
Yes.
Mm.
and then
For
And
me,
then
well, for me, I was asked to come there to disciple some of the Chinese college students and graduates. So that was my first ministry. I think along with that time, as Jenny kind of mentioned, we had outreaches and we would go together, just the discipleship group too, to Rawis
Tondo.
and Tondo.
Mhm.
Later, I had a ministry in San Nicolas uh, that I would do. And I became a Sunday school teacher also, uh,
Mm.
early years. And then eventually a board member. Uh, so those are my beginning years of ministry, and continued on different things in the ministry after that, trainings and so on.
New Life 2000, that's 1999, 1989, 1990. So when we were going to Rawis Tondo, that was when Manny and Vicky the Lumen, they were the family that we would go and visit.
Mhm.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
really parang bring them out and doing trainings. And then sina Kuya Joe and Beth Gonzalez, their family
Yes.
also. So those were they were with us, and we were trying to do things together to do the ministry there. Who else are the people there? But see, at the Vicky, we always go to their house.
Mm. Okay, so right now, do you have any plans or other ministry involvement currently?
What you said?
No,
Or
since we've been in
other?
it for 4 years, but I was a board member for how many years until maybe 2018. So,
Mm.
and I was involved in trainings and planning, like a board planning on some of our, yearly plans, stuff like that, and leading groups on Sundays that we had. So those are some of the things that I have been involved in since then. And preaching once in a while, those things too.
Mm.
Earlier years, they would have like sort of Sunday school class, but sort of discipleship group class,
Yes.
and was a Sunday morning before the service, and we would break up in small
Mhm.
groups. And that's how I had Kuya Roger and Atebet Castilla and some other people in my group. That's how I got to become friends with Atebet Castillo.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in my group then. And when I was teaching later yung mga toddler, I got to meet the
Yeah.
moms of the toddlers then when I was doing Sunday school for the toddlers. So
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was nice that through those got to know some other GSM members
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny
more
did that.
better.
Yeah. We had a number, people would know that, different times we would meet with groups before the service or after the service.
Sunday school class.
Yeah. Sunday school class or discipleship class. Uh, and that's happened quite a bit at GCM. And we were
Mm.
both involved in that.
Yeah, you were teaching Hukbok Luktok,
Yeah.
Seven Laws of the Learners,
Yeah.
like so
Things
many
like
things.
that.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, are you planning to visit the Philippines anytime soon, or are you going to um, be with us during the anniversary?
Probably we won't make it. We were in the Philippines for 2 months this year, and
Yes.
we probably won't go back. We haven't made any final plans for the next trip. Depends on our
Mm.
schedules and responsibilities here. But of course, we will go back and
Mhm.
visit, but probably will not be again this year.
But we're excited for
Yes.
GCM. 40 years. Wow.
Yes, that's right. 40 years. This is actually for our last question with regards to with regards to your testimony. But this is a bit personal. What is or are the biggest challenge or challenges that you faced that you think really strengthened your faith and or changed your life?
Hmm. We talked about this, and when, but we have to go to the closest and the nearest one, and that was in 2020
Mm.
when we had planned to go for a furlough and come back, and because of COVID and God's definite direction, we didn't come back to the Philippines.
Mm.
And to us, that was really, really hard. It was never in our plans. So we came back to a place I haven't really lived in for 40 years. I've lost touch with. And Jenny had never really lived except for furloughs here. So it was a hard time and say, well, what do we do now? Because we were so committed to ministry in the Philippines, GCM, International Graduate School of Leadership. So we were lost, honestly. And God used that time in different ways. I don't want to go in details to say, this is where I've called you. He provided a place for us to live. He's provided a ministry with Jenny.
Mm.
She can explain that. But for me, I'm still connected with the Philippines, the International Graduate School of Leadership, coaching our alumni, and doing some other responsibilities. So to me, that was the toughest time for us, for Jenny and I as a couple. And God just said, has affirmed over and over again, this is what I've called you to do. And so that's it. But our heart hasn't actually left the Philippines, just our bodies. So that's
Mm.
what's up. Jenny can explain her.
I'm with the Jesus Film Project now. And why it's special is because during the time that I was in college, starting from college, and even with GCM, when we would have those, we would call it OJ, Operation JFS, we would show the Jesus film. When
Mm.
the young professionals of GCM went to Bulacan, partnered with the church there, we showed the Jesus film to the people there. And even in Rawisondo, that's what we were using, showing the Jesus film.
Yeah.
So it's like, now I was in the other side before using the Jesus film to reach, and now I can be in the other side being part of the
Mm.
Jesus film project itself. So I was really happy for that.
Mm. Uh, so, are you part of the production team or are you acting?
So I'm using my finance. So I'm part of the
Ah,
finance of the Jesus film project. So we're still partnering with, trying to use it globally, because it's not so much here, but it's around the world. But then that
Apa.
Jesus film is needed. Still translating the last few remaining.
Yeah. I'm excited because it really fits exactly who she is, her experience in the Philippines. So that's why it's really strengthened our faith to see how God took care of us here when we were kind of at a loss.
Mm. Okay. This is for our last segment. Uh, so since you are part of the 40 God stories, you're also advocates of the Each One Bring One campaign for our 40th anniversary. So kindly invite our viewers to participate in the Each One Bring One campaign.
Yeah, I would encourage all of you to be involved inviting others in the Each One Bring One campaign, because I've attended many GCM anniversaries in the past, and it's a great joy to see so many people come and celebrate what God has done over 40 years of faithful ministry at GCM.
Yes, each one bring one. Invite your friends. Start praying for that person.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ron and Miss Jenny Gaff, for your time for this interview. Thank you and God bless po.